Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn history today by Hanging Gardens of Babylon. And after we've done it, we're going to do stretching. And if you participate in the stretching, this that you own this. And this is part 3 or something. Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Okay, the first interesting thing here is for us. We're preparing our presentation about it. Eventually, Babylonia was defeated by the rival empire of Assyria. But in 626 before Christ, an alliance between the Chaldeans of southern Babylonia and the Medes of Persia defeated Assyria, and the Chaldean ruler Nabopolassar made himself king of Babylon. In the year 626, the ruler of the Medes, not Chaldeans, the Chaldeans of the southern part of Babylonia. In 626 before Christ, the Medes, Chaldeans. The Chaldeans of southern part of Babylonia, led or ruled by Nabopolassar, had with an allegiance, together with the Medes of Persia, defeated Assyria, and now Nabopolassar became the ruler of Babylon. And while Nabopolassar was reigning, he let the city build out to make it fortified. He built out the city to be fortified. He let build walls. A wall around the city, for example. And his son, Nebuchadnezzar II, continued in his work. He made fortresses and strong points along the wall. Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Hanging Gardens of Babylon. We're going to mention this just. And he also built a bridge over the river Euphrates and a royal palace over the city, a fortified royal palace. And at the bank of the river Euphrates, there he let build the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. And that was happening because his wife Semiramis was missing Persian homelands, and she disliked the flatland of Babylon, and she missed the mountains of Persia, and so he let build terraces of gardens stacked on top of each other, which were 100 meters high, and he let them again surrounded by a wall, 7 meters thick. And all these terraces were surrounded by stone flower beds. What was the exact word? Stone flower beds leaned with lead, and that is leaned with lead. Lead is on the outside of the stone flower bed, but I don't really know what the door is, what lead is and so on. And I don't understand what lean. Is it lined? Maybe that's it. It's my whole thing. I just mispronounce it, and so I never find out what it is. Lined with lead. Okay, whatever. The terraces and at the outside, at the borders of his terraces, there were stone flower beds, and in them were exotic trees. What was the word? Profusion. A profusion of exotic trees. I don't really know what profusion is. And there were exotic trees and shrubs and creepers and flowers. And all these terraces were connected over marble staircases, over roofed by arcing rows, by stone arcs. With rows of stone arcs, and now there were slaves working and pumping from the river Euphrates with Archimedean screws, probably were then used. They were doing water up to cisterns on the top terrace, and that water when it was very used to feed the waterfalls and fountains and the flowers also. What was the streams. And the next thing would be, let's mention it also. And the whole thing was architectural and hydraulic engineering masterpiece. Equally, they must have been a prodigious feat of architecture and hydraulic engineering. Was an astonishing work or great work, astonishing, a fabulous, awesome, an admirable piece of architecture, hydraulic engineering, to make these hanging gardens possible. Now, 22 years after Nebuchadnezzar II had died, the Persian Emperor Cyrus the Great entered the city without great struggle. Nevertheless, all the building of fortified walls. And there's not so much known about the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. but they probably survived a little bit longer, 3 centuries later after Cyrus the Great had entered the city and Nebuchadnezzar II had died. There was still reported by Berosus, the Babylonian priest. But today there's nothing substantial left of the worship. I must say, but today there's just a well and one or two. What is the answer? One or two. There's one or there's two. Okay, the Babylonian priest Berosus described them 300 centuries later, but today there's more or less absolutely nothing left. There's basically nothing left. Maybe a well and an ark. And that we will be then according. Oh, that thing is part of it. Below, a lion finely modeled in relief, once decorated with the magnificent glazed brick walls of a throne room in Nebuchadnezzar's splendid palace in Babylon. Okay, and for example, that's all part of Hanging Guns. We have our own title for our presentation, Hanging Guns of Babylon. I'm still using it, I don't know what that is. Where is this lion? I'm going to show it in a moment. And that is inside of his royal palace, which shows the city of Babylon, fortified with a wall. No, it was fortified, but we don't know if it was a wall. And there is this relief, a decorated relief. Now I'm showing it even more, I'm not ready to. What is that? A lion finely modeled in relief. Is relief, this relief that is from the side, that's what relief is? In relief, once decorated with a magnificent glazed brick wall. So that thing is standing today. A lion finely modeled in relief, once decorated with magnificent glazed brick walls of a throne room in Nebuchadnezzar's splendid palace in Babylon. I would just claim that that thing is standing today. I understand it that way. But that doesn't look new. If it would be a painting or something, then it would look new. Someone would have made it like this imagination. So this is a photograph, and if it's a photograph and standing today, it's still standing today. There's, for example, we're going to say the palace. There's, for example, a finely modeled relief of a lion in the throne room of the palace. There's a relief of a finely modeled lion in the throne room of the palace. Whether we were, according to Leonard Galaxies, what is it? I think wonders of it. First, wonders of it. No, the problem is we're 8 minutes in. It means we don't have time for a presentation. We're going to do a presentation next time. That means if you were here for history, you're going to to the next part of history, where we will, or the next part of history, Hanging Guns of Babylon. If you go there, you can go there. If you stay here and participate in the 30 minutes, you're always good. Good and simple stance, and the breathing and the outside. And breathe out outside. Breathe again in. And out over to the other side. Okay. Out the arms down. Breathe in. Out one hand slides down the leg, and the other shoulder stays down. Breathe again in. And out to take one arm over. Breathe again in. And out back. Again in. And out one hand slides down the leg, the other shoulder stays down. Breathe in. And out and one arm over. And now inverted kid. And out down. And now have feet same together, the aeronautic aerobatic aeroplane, breathe in the arms up. Then breathe out one hand down. Within reach. And out hand up. Again in. Out one hand down. In and reach. Out and up. And hands down. Legs shoulder wide apart, and we are doing shoulder circles front, up, and down. And now breathe in and lift the shoulders up. And breathe out, lift the foot down. Take it in. And out. Take it in. And out. Now we have a placard, breathe in, lift the arms up. And now reach all this with one arm high up. Pretend to take an apple hanging high with apple punch. Turn it a bit around and pretend to harvest it. And over to a shifter. Legs wide apart, arms up to a T, breathe in. And out and go over to one side. Get in. And out and go to the other side. Get in. And out. And out, we're leaning onto the knees, the buffalo fighting its hangover. We're breathing in. And out, one shoulder front. Even the shoulder back. Out the other one in front. Even the shoulder back. Out the other one in front. In the shoulder back. Out the other one in front. In and back. And out, and we're doing the Niagara Falls, just hang out. And breathing in. And out. Take it in. And out. Take it in. And out and over to one leg. Breathing it in. And out and over to the other leg. Breathing it in. And out and over the other leg. And now close the feet and doing the salto pendulum. Breathing it in. And out. And in. And out comes slowly with the round back up and make it to the top and backwards. Now we can't close. The toes are pointing to the outside, having an ulnar length space between the heels. Breathe in, lift the arms up. And breathe out and sink down. Place your elbows against the inside of the rib cage. Now breathe in and straighten up. And breathe out and come with the back up. Breathing in. And out and go out. Breathe in and straighten up. And out again down. Again in. And down and down. Now breathe in and straighten up. And breathe out and come to the crown of the head. And we're ending legs wide apart. We're breathing in. Breathing in. And out. In. Out. Out. And then we're in and close the legs. And breathe again out. Make most mistakes. Thank you very much. Until next time.